Welcome back to the Crypto Knowledge Alliance. It's me, Jimbo. In today's video, we're going to have a look at the Bitcoin price action and see if it can help us determine where it's going to go next. We're going to do a quick review of some of the educational calls made for our premium Telegram members and see how they performed. There's a couple of news stories that I think tie up really nicely to an upcoming ICO, which I think you guys might be interested in doing some research into. And of course, we're going to do our normal market roundup. Now guys, if you're new here and that's the sort of content that you want to see more of, please give me a subscribe, give me a like. That helps you get the content as soon as I make it, and of course it helps my channel grow. So it's a win for both of us. If you're interested in continuing the cryptocurrency conversation beyond YouTube, feel free to come and join the Telegram group. The link's in the description. Active, enthusiastic cryptocurrency traders and investors having educational and insightful conversations. Come and get involved. I'm sure there'll be something of educational use in there for you, and it's really friendly and very welcoming. Guys, remember that I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I giving financial advice. I'm just Jimbo. I'm calling the cryptocurrency markets as I see them with my experience here. I hope that it helps you, but remember that I can't tell you what to buy or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just giving you my overviews and my opinions. You should always seek professional advice when doing speculative investment. That being said, guys, let's dive straight into Crypto Live. Here's the Bitcoin 1 week chart against US dollar on Bitfinex. I've got two lines on this chart here, guys. The red line is our 20-week moving average, and the blue line here at the bottom is the weekly 200 moving average. As you can see, guys, the 200 weekly moving average has worked as quite a good support for Bitcoin in the past. Now, I can't quite take you back far enough to show you where this blue line worked as support. On some of the other graphs I could, but in the 2015 bear market, it actually worked as quite a nice support and springboard for the price. And as you can see, the 20 weekly moving average was a very good support during the bull market, and when we turned across to the bear market, it's been acting as resistance. Why am I highlighting these lines, guys? Well, we clearly have a significant convergence of these two lines. That is a closing, tightening range between the support and the resistance. This will break out one way or the other, guys, eventually. It pretty much has to. I'm going to give you a quick overview into which way I think it's going to go, but remember, it's my opinion, and go and do your own research before moving further. I could be wrong. I may be wrong. I think it's important to view both sides of the coin and wait for some sort of confirmation before you just dive in, because diving in is just a guess. Let's make an educated guess and then wait for confirmation before we make our moves. Okay, so the reason that I draw this specifically to your attention today, I'm going to bring up a couple of indicators here. You can see we've got the stochastic RSI at the bottom here, and we've got our RSI here. Now, as you can see, guys, our stochastic RSI has absolutely topped out. It is right up here at the max. It couldn't get a lot higher. Now, historically, guys, when we turn down from these high points, we have seen a price drop. We had one here from about 3,000 down to about 1,500, so a 50% drop off that one, and of course we had this quite monumental drop at the end of the 2017 bull run. So now, guys, it's significant to see that we're at the top here. A collapse from here could see the price drop further, in my opinion. That's not to say that that is exactly how it will play out, and if we were to drop and then bounce quite quickly, that sometimes is very bullish. But we're just going off the previous data. We can only use what we've got, so it's worth bearing in mind. Just want to quickly use my cursor to show you a particular support and resistance I see on the RSI. You can see that horizontal line going across there, and you can see we've got several touches back in 2015 there, working as resistance early on. Then it became support when we turned into our bull market, and now we are looking like we could just be bouncing off this line as it's formed as a resistance. Now, again, guys, this is just going off the current price action. This could very quickly change if we had another big shoot up this week, but worth keeping an eye on. One thing that it's worth doing, guys, once you've seen these longer time frame trends, is to then go down a time frame. So let's go down quickly to the 1 day. We're going to remove our moving averages for a moment. These are less pertinent on this chart for me. And I'm just going to bring my drawing tools back now. Guys, again, if you've been watching my previous videos or you've been in the Telegram group, you're going to recognize some of these lines here. For the rest of you, I am going to just quickly give you an overview of them. The red line is our long-term trend line resistance. It's been forming basically since the beginning of 2018. The white lines represent the triangle formation that we've been forming since December. Well, December, November time. As you can see, we've been in this pattern. The purple lines represent the falling wedges which broke out positively within this formation. And yeah, and I've got another line here. Now, I've got this one in with the red line. Now, I did have a floating purple line in here before, which I had in my previous videos, I said, which could very likely be our resistance for a further falling wedge. And yeah, you can see that that could very well be the case. What I've done here, though, is I've actually removed it just for now, because I think that with this long-term downtrend line coming and intersecting in this, we could almost just leave this here. And we know that there's a chance that we might get resistance off this line here if we were to draw one in from that peak to that peak. But the most significant resistance that we're facing right now within this trend is definitely this red line. So where might it go from here? Well, in my previous video I said once we bounced off this support, this resistance up here, most likely we'd go and retest the support down here somewhere in the 3,500 range. We are, you know, moving towards that zone. We've got our daily stochastic RSI now pointing negative, so if we break down from there, expect to see further downside price action. One thing I've highlighted though is we do have quite a nice bullish push in the RSI, but there's just something about this move that I'm just not completely sure about, guys. You get on your charts, draw in this long-term resistance. That's probably what I would consider the most significant at this particular point in time. So get on there, have a look at that, and see where how it plays out. If we break down, expect a possible break past that 200 weekly moving average, and therefore perhaps even more downside. Okay guys, I think that's probably Bitcoin covered for this video. Now we're going to move on to a couple of the calls for the Telegram Premium members. So guys, since the channel's inception on February the 10th, I have made in total 31 educational trading calls. My opinion, remember guys, not financial advice. They're for you to go and do your research on and then make your own decisions up. Just wanted to highlight these are our best performers out of the 31 so far. We had a 425% potential profit on Engine, 148% off Theta, 88% off AppCoin, 55 off Singles, 54 off ICX, and so on and so forth. These are updated only since yesterday, so if we've had a further push up, we could have seen even more potential profit from these guys. But as you can see, we're doing pretty well. Now, out of those 31 calls, we're averaging a peak return profit potential of over 38%. If that interests you guys, come and get involved in the free Telegram group, and then you can find out more about how you might be able to get access to those educational calls. So onto our market overcap and normal roundup. We can see that we have a Bitcoin dominance at 51.3%, 24-hour volume of 31.5 billion, market cap at 134 billion. And well guys, it's been a bit of a sideways day. Bitcoin seems to be dithering, as we have seen in our Bitcoin analysis, waiting for that next move, and we get the normal sort of moves around that. Now, one thing I will say is that in this last week or so, I think that we've had a lot of fundamentally driven project price increases, and this is a really interesting time for me, guys. I think we could be at the dawn of something really cool here. What I think we're seeing with some of the pushes up that we've seen, you look at Engine Coin, Cosmo, and so on and so forth, Basic Attention Token, Icon. These things have had really nice push ups, right? Now, this has not been backed by anything. I mean, you can see it's down by 12% today, but that's to be expected with the huge run up that we've had. But what makes me so interested in these run-up guys is these are fundamental-based pushes. These aren't just your random pump and dumps. I mean, they could be driven by a lot of speculative investors. Everything in this space is. But I believe we're at the dawn of a time where the projects with real fundamental use cases are starting to come through and shine, and that's where we've seen some of these huge price increases come from. That's only my opinion, guys, but I think we could be at the beginning of the dawn of adoption. I'm not saying that by tomorrow we're going to have millions of more people within cryptocurrency, but with things like the S10 blockchain wallet, Samsung doing their bit, Samsung are a $500 billion company. They don't dive into things like this unless they're sure. What I'm saying is, guys, we're seeing those bridges getting put in place to bridge that adoption chasm. Interesting times ahead. Really interesting times. Great times to be in the space. Great time to be holding some of those tokens as well. And like I said, in our premium Telegram group, we've had calls for these, educational calls for these, and big returns off some of them. Let's have a quick look at the daily gainers and losers and see what we can make out of that. Coin market cap being a little bit slow for me today. So, of course, as normal, I'm going to pretty much discount anything under 500,000 to a million. It's just the way I do it. Crypto.com chain has had a really big run up and has put itself well within the top 10 now. This is Crow. This is their new token. But you can see only 705,000 24-hour volume. So, although we've had a very impressive run in the percentage-wise, it's not been based on huge volume. Biggest significant increase on volume is ICO RLC with 18 million USD volume in the last 24 hours and almost a 70% push. That's really nice. If you're holding that, congratulations. We've got Viacoin up pretty significantly, Zcoin up, and let's have a little look down, see if we've got any more of the tokens that are discussed in the group. Morpheus Labs has done really well, 38.6%, and full disclosure, guys, I actually hold some Morpheus Labs, so it's nice to see that doing its thing. I'm not looking to trade that, though. It's a long-term call, so it's a long-term hold. I'm looking to see where it goes in the future. I'm really interested in the project. I like what they're doing. I know there's a couple other people in the group that are the same, that are interested in that project, so maybe it's worth checking out, guys. Do your own research, right? There's some good ones in here. We've got CVC pushed up almost 40 million 24-hour volume. Again, this was something that was called in the group. I don't think that this was one of the educational calls released. I think it was discussed in conversation on the free group, and I sort of said, look, I'm looking at the chart, and I think that there could be some, in my opinion, there could be some movement on CVC, and we have had quite a significant push in the last day or so. It's actually had 2 good days in a row, I think, since that call was made. On the bad side, we've got Grossel Coin down 20% on $273 million volume. But again, if you've been watching the markets, that had a huge run up yesterday. I think I was watching it on Upbit, and it was 185% up at one point after the release of their card. If that's not something you guys have looked into, they've just released their own cryptocurrency spending card, like a credit debit card, sorry. It's backed by MasterCard, probably worth doing some research into. Storage down 18% on 22 million. Again, had a really big run up, so to be expected. Capacity, I know this is low volume, but again, this is a project that could have some legs in the future, in my opinion. So go and do your own research on that. See what you think of that token. See if you think I'm just talking rubbish, or if that's got some good potential. Another one of my holds, and I have to, again, full disclosure, is Digitex Futures. I think they're going to have an amazing couple of months. We'll have to wait and see. My opinion, obviously. If you don't know anything about Digitex Futures, guys, go and do some research. There's some exciting stuff going on there. Really exciting. Maybe I was a little bit put off by the forwardness of the CEO the first time I started doing my research into them. But I saw between the lines, the guy is a trader from London. These, when he's then gone and formed this company, this exchange. If you've ever witnessed a trading floor in any busy city, you know that these guys swear, and this is what they do. This is just who they are. I think this guy's got some really cool visions for what he wants his exchange to be able to do in the future, and he is certainly aiming his scope at some pretty big people. There's been lots of talk about, again, it's speculative talk, but people going, could this be the BitMEX killer? Well, who knows, guys? Go and do your own research and make your own opinion up on that. What else have we got? Cosmo Coin has dropped back down 10.7% again. And again, guys, this is a project I hold for the long run. We've had a big run up on that, so not unlikely to see a 10% pullback. I think this was we were discussing this at first when it was at about 12 or 14 million market cap, and it's shot all the way up to about 30 odd. Let's have a quick look. Click in there and see how it's doing. So it's about 31, almost $32 million market cap. And as you can see from our recent price action chart here on Coin Market Cap, it's been a pretty significant run up. I think I got in at about 2 cents. It was about 2 cents. I didn't quite catch the whole of this. The project only came to my attention in this time frame, and then the rumors about Samsung were just about simmering over, and I bought once I saw this climb here. I like these where you see a climb and stability. It's suggesting that it's backed by real interest and volume. Again, guys, you know, do your own research. I do have a short video, but so if you check over my playlist, you'll see there's a 3 or 4 minute video about Cosmo Coin but that I actually made before this big run up. So go and check that out if that's the sort of thing that interests you. And of course, again, as always, do your own research. It's very important that you do your own research. Okay, for the final part of today's video, I'm going to show you these news stories and the ICO that I think it is quite pertinent to. So let's dive into that. So guys, this is the first news story of the day that I find to be quite interesting, and it is SEC Chairman Clayton just confirmed commission staff analysis that found Ethereum and cryptos like it are not securities. Now, I'm not going to talk about this one too much, guys. I'll put the link in the description. I think the headline says it all. You'll be able to come here and read it, and if you choose to, you can click here and you can watch his whole response. So it's worth coming and checking out. Had a few people ask me today, does this mean XRP has just been cleared as not a security? Well, guys, in my opinion, hold your horses. Again, just like I'd say with the technical analysis, let's wait for confirmation, right? When they say Ethereum and cryptos like it, what my mind pulls to is I think they're talking about ERC20 tokens. It's interesting they haven't mentioned Bitcoin, and again, like I said, you know, XRP and Ethereum, they're both cryptocurrencies, but they're both, you know, they're very different. So I think personally this is referring to ERC20 tokens, but come and do your reading, do your own research, of course, and let me know what you think in the comments section. Okay, so on to the ones that are relevant to this ICO. Now, EU report calls for blockchain interoperability standards. Again, guys, I'm not going to go into it too much. The headline says pretty much all you need to know. I'll just, you know, cover the first bit. The report, dubbed Scalability, Interoperability and Sustainability of Blockchains, was prepared by blockchain tech firm Consensus on behalf of the European Union Blockchain Observatory and Forum. It provides insight into the current and potential future states of blockchain in Europe, considering the input of different stakeholders and sources. So, very interesting, guys, but the thing to take away from this is that we're looking for interoperability, that we're trying to try and improve the interoperability of the platforms and make them more sustainable. So interesting. Let's just have a quick read of this bit to take away. Currently, the EU is active in supporting blockchain research in a number of ways. From the EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum to the allocation of up to 340 million euros to support blockchain projects through 2020 under the Horizon 2020 programme. While these are laudable, the EU should not rest on its laurels. Both the US and China have expressed strong support for blockchain research, with the former even going so far as to include it as part of its $700 billion USD defense budget. Interesting stuff. Come and read it, guys. Now, let's link it over to the ICO. Now, you see here we've got these mentions of scalability, interoperability, sustainability. Let me introduce you to Veriblock. This is been worked on for a few years. There's a large team of developers working on Veriblock. They've been at it for about 3 or 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. They pretty much want to secure all blockchains using the computing power of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has so much computing power. I think they do have an intro video, guys. You guys can come check it out. I think if I remember from the intro video, it was something like more computing power than the 4 or 5 top supercomputers in the world combined. That's serious computing power. Now, the rest of the blockchains, they just don't have that, and therefore they lack security, scalability, interoperability, all of these things. Veriblock want to solve that. I recommend you guys come here. Look at this. Why Veriblock? They want to prevent double spend attacks, protect against 51% attacks. How many times in the last year have we seen? I think about Ethereum Classic, all the hype, and then bam, 51% attack, and everyone's just like, whoa, what just happened? Where did that come from? So it's worth looking at, guys. I'd come and research on Veriblock. The ICO is not active yet. They are moving at a very fast pace. I suggest you come and check these out. Do some research. Again, give me some feedback in the comments section. Are you looking into Veriblock? Have you been involved with it from the beginning? Are you running the testnet? It is here. You can run this testnet. Come and check it out. Give me some feedback on this, guys. I'd be interested to know what you think. And there's one more thing relating to this interoperability platform. Now, we've all seen that in the recent weeks, the Samsung blockchain key store has been released, and alongside it, we know that they've partnered with ENJ to create this this wallet. Now, I've got a little bit of interesting news that's popped up in front of me today, and it's that Bancor, and if you don't know Bancor, they're an exchange, kind of like a DX. They've actually, I don't know if they've directly partnered, but they've integrated some of their protocol into the Samsung Galaxy S10's Engine crypto wallet. As you can see here, this tweet from Simak Maznavi. And Simak, if I'm butchering your name, I apologize. I'm trying my best. But as you can see here, he's made a comment here. Congratulations at Bancor on your new unified wallet and the integration of Bancor X protocol into the Samsung Galaxy S10's Engine crypto wallet. Wow, that sounds interesting, right? Bancor, if you've never used the exchange before, it's a bit different to Binance and ones like that. Like I said, it certainly runs more like a DX, but they use the Bancor token to bridge the gap between particular currencies. Now, again, guys, I don't want to go on about this too much. I'll put all the links in the description so you can come and do your own research and see what you can learn from this. I think you might find it interesting. If you made it to the end, guys, and you are new, remember, come and jump in that Telegram. It's going to be super educational and useful for you. Give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for joining us today for Crypto Live, guys. Until next time, bye.